Well, Carole Pyke has had 2 strokes, one 5 years ago, one earlier this year, and joins us in the studio. Very good to see you, and good to see you looking well, because having a stroke, as we know, and everyone probably knows someone who's had a stroke, it can be such a devastating experience. How do you even begin to pull yourself back from that?
I think it is really challenging, because your name and stroke in the same sentence changes your life forever. And I've now done it twice. And the first time, I was really confused. I had no idea what it was that meant or what life would actually look like afterwards. So things like driving, and I used to drive all the time and I was out and about, but I wasn't able to do that. In fact, actually, I'd had a car accident when I had the stroke, and so the car was written off, and then I wasn't able to drive for another further 9 months. And so everything changes, and you have to just find either coping strategies or sit at home and cry. And
in terms of those coping strategies, when we're talking about people fearing having another stroke, and you have had another stroke, how do you stop that being a constant fear in life moving forward?
Well, I think one of the things that I have done is I've chosen not to look at what's on paper, because obviously I've had a clot and I've had a bleed, and I am now more susceptible to another one, and the next one could actually kill me. And so if I chose to look at it from that perspective, that everything would be fearful, because essentially, you know, some of my doctors have said that they can make the conditions less favourable for a stroke, but they can't necessarily prevent it from happening. And so I've decided that the stroke's got to pay. And so, therefore, I'm not going to focus on what might happen or may not happen. I'm just kind of living in here and now and actually saying, OK, life's a great adventure and I'm an intrepid explorer, and let me go for it.
So how do you live your life now? As you say, you're not looking at the detail and not looking at the paperwork. Are you limited in the things that you can do?
I think I'm kind of more challenged by the things it is I can do, because there are some issues that I have, things like processing. And one of the other things is that I live quite literally in the here and now, because I have minimal memory of stuff before the stroke. So I liken it to, I'm a newborn, like a newborn baby, that you're born into a world that you don't understand, you have to get familiar with the world and then how to live in it. And so every day is quite literally an adventure, because there's lots of stuff that I don't remember, that I don't know that works, and I don't understand. And so it's about having to ask questions and kind of push forward. And there are times where it is that I am tearful, and I am kind of like particularly challenged because people don't understand, and that there's that whole desperation sometimes of wanting people to understand that stuff is hard.
I was going to say, how difficult is it for the people around you? I mean, what's been the advice for them in terms of how they deal with you, especially when memory is lacking in certain situations?
Well, actually, there hasn't been kind of lots of advice in relation to that. And it is difficult for people, because I don't present in the way that people think that you should present. Because we often think of a stroke as being a physical thing. And if you haven't got, you know, your slurred speech, or, you know, your mouth isn't drooping to one side, or you aren't dragging your leg, it's really difficult for people to understand that a stroke is a brain injury. And one of the manifestations is physical. But there are so many other things that happen as a result of that. And so even times where it is I say to people that I don't understand, because I look like I should understand, or I used to understand, it actually is difficult for them to grasp it. And someone actually said to me that because you smile, you inspire others, and you are actually doing things, nobody's ever going to understand.
But that's part of the issue, isn't it? We see from the pictures, you're a happy, smiley, bubbly person chatting to you before this all kicked off. You know, you're clearly a very nice human being. But does that hide? Do you find yourself hiding a lot of the issues or concerns, or, you know, putting on a smile, putting on a brave face some of the time?
Well, what's interesting is that having this stroke actually highlighted the fact that there were so many things from the first stroke that I was hiding from myself and nobody knew. But this stroke, I'm actually choosing to actually smile my way through it. So it's less of a mask that I'm putting on, because actually when I wake up each morning, I wake up with a smile because I'm alive.
Yeah.
because this could have been so different. And so I'm choosing. And I know that actually I may not be atypical in relation to how it is that people deal with a stroke, because the reality is it is hard and it's a struggle, and so many people's relationships have broken down because the people around them don't understand and don't know how to deal with it. And so there is depression, there is anger, there is a lot of fear going on. But one of the things that's happened since my stroke is that I have no frame of reference for fear, worry, anxiety or regret, because I don't have that major memories of the past. So I'm not trying to get back to something that I was, because I'm not 100% clear on exactly what that was.
Yeah.
So therefore I've only got the here and now. But most stroke survivors do have the memory of how they used to be, what they used to be able to do, and now they can't. And that is a real hard stumbling block that's saying, actually, I want to get back to that place, and I don't know, I can't. And so that becomes kind of frustrating and depressing and anger-driven.
But you're looking forward with positivity.
Yeah, because I've worked out, or I've decided, I'm a woman of faith, so I've decided that the fact that I'm alive means that I've got things to do. And I can't do them if I'm just sitting at home thinking about all of the things, that the problems it is that I have, and actually focusing on that, because I firmly believe that what you focus on is what it is that you see.
Well, you have got things to do, and one of them is helping people who'll be watching this at home, and you've done a great job doing that, Carole. Very good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.